Hello everybody and welcome back to another video review for you. This one's coming kind of late because the movie just came out on Blu-ray recently. I had it since the day it came out on Blu-ray and I've seen it in theaters, but I figured now would be the best time to talk about it. It was in my top 10 favorite films of 2014. It still is. It is a great action film, very entertaining, very solid. And I'm recording this very late. And after this I think I'm going to go to bed because I want to get up as early as I can tomorrow to go lift. And that has nothing to do with this, but the movie I'm about to review it comes along very rarely when you have an action movie, and not even an action movie, just a straight shoot-'em-up film that's this entertaining and this good of a film, just period. And it's John Wick. Now, John Wick, the plot is very simple. They kill his dog and he wants revenge for it. The plot on the back is a little more different. On the back of the case is different from the plot of the movie, a little bit. When sadistic young thugs senselessly attack John Wick and a brilliantly lethal ex-assassin, they have no idea that they've just awakened the boogeyman. With New York City as his bullet-riddled playground, Wick embarks on a merciless rampage, hunting down his adversaries with the skill and ruthlessness that made him an underworld legend. They leave out the fact that they killed his dog and stole his car, but no big deal. Now, John Wick. Everything about this movie is great. And it has my favorite cameo appearance of the year with John Leguizamo appearing as, I forget the guy's name, but John Wick. Like I said, this son of a Russian mobster kills John Wick's dog. John Wick gets mad and he goes after him. There's a little bit more to it than that. John Wick's wife recently passed away early in the movie, and the dog was a parting gift to him because she knew she was going to die. The disease was haunting her, and it was haunting him also. So it was scheduled that after she passed, the dog would be sent to him. And after him and the dog get connected, the dog gets killed by Lusov, the son of the mafia guy, and John Wick gets very angry about it, and he goes on a rampage. And what I like about this movie is that it has an established universe, and it's not confusing. It has an established universe that feels as though there are stories that happened before this. They tell light stories about John Wick that happened before this, but it's not confusing. It feels like it all makes sense. Like the hotel that's mainly for assassins and mafia people, how they have their established rules, and how John Wick was a legend even before this whole event in the movie. Everyone is scared of him because they know what his potential is, what his angle is, how he does things, how he goes about things. It's all brilliantly written, and it's rare that a movie has this much of an established backstory that doesn't even have a source material as far as I know. I remember trying to look up a comic book, a book, and there was nothing aside from John Wick, this movie. And this movie feels like a comic book movie. It feels like a great comic book movie, but it's not. It's just an awesome action film. And one that I highly recommend to everybody. This is one of the best shoot-'em-up films. It's not the best shoot-'em-up film. No, it's not it's almost along the lines of John Woo, but it's not quite there. That's not an insult. It's just John Woo is a master at the craft, and it's hard. It's almost impossible for any shoot-'em-up action movie to get on par with John Woo's capabilities, but they tried really hard, and you know what, it worked. The action scenes in this movie are phenomenal. They're some of the best action scenes I have seen in a shoot-'em-up movie in a very long time. This is one of the best shoot-'em-up movies I've seen in years. There was Expendables 2, that was a lot of fun. Punisher Warzone, I did not like Punisher Warzone the first couple times I watched it. It took me 3 times to think it was okay. It took me 4 times to actually enjoy it. That's not a good movie, but I enjoyed the Punisher Warzone now, so it's a decent shoot-'em-up movie. Wanted is really good, but John Wick tops them all. It just does. I cannot think of another just straight shoot-'em-up movie that was this awesome as John Wick. Dredd, you can argue, but I don't see Dredd as a straightforward shoot-'em-up movie. I see that more as a more of a standard action film than it is a shoot-'em-up film. And I don't consider movies along the lines of, it feels more like RoboCop as opposed to just a straight John Woo shoot 'em up. Not a bad thing, but it's just not what it is. And The Raid isn't a shoot 'em up movie either. That's a martial arts action film, a very very great one. Both of them, especially The Raid 2. The Raid 2 is an absolute masterpiece. If you haven't seen it, so see it now. If you have 3 hours to spend, it's a very long movie, but sure as hell doesn't feel it. And one thing that John Wick is basically this year's Dredd. That's how I see it. That's how I see John Wick. It's this year's Dredd. Not as many people have saw it as I would like to have seen it, but it is one of the best films, hands down, of this year. It has basically the same entertainment value, but I think I might like John Wick a bit more. I'd have to actually think about it. I think I'd have to watch Dredd again. Dredd is really, really awesome, especially that minigun scene in that movie. That scene was great, but the club scene in this movie was wonderful. There is basically not a single moment in this movie that isn't entertaining in some way, and even though they do kill a dog, they don't really show it. It's kind of just, it's not hinted at. You do know it happens. You see something happen, but you don't see them just like beat the dog to death. It's kind of off screen, and I liked that. If they would have showed it, I would have been more about it. But the fact is that that's what gets the movie's plot going. It's not there just to shock the viewer. I mean, it likely might be, but the plot of the movie is they kill his dog and he gets revenge on him. So that's how the ball gets rolling. And it's funny because my friend watched it the other day and he said they could have killed his wife. I wouldn't have felt as bad, but they killed his dog. Now I feel terrible. And that's just how people feel. People for some reason feel more connected with dogs than they do with people, because we see people die in movies all the time. Animals, we feel more sympathetic to them, myself included. Me probably more so because I love dogs. I have a dog, and no one's allowed to mess with him at all. I'm very protective of my dog. So whenever animals get hurt in a movie, I'm not okay with it. I'm kind of now Cannibal Holocaust. When I was younger, I didn't care. I still kind of don't, because I know why they were doing it. I don't think it was just for shock value. I think they were actually doing it to survive, because they were out in the wilderness, for all I know. But as I got older, it did kind of bother me a bit more, because, when I was younger, I didn't really think about it, but as I matured, it gets to you a bit more. But with John Wick, the animals are fake. The dog didn't actually die. They didn't actually kill the dog in John Wick, which is great. I'm happy they didn't, because I don't think I'd be able to watch the movie. If they killed a real dog, I wouldn't watch a movie. They killed a real dog, but they didn't actually kill a dog in this movie. A real dog wasn't harmed in this movie, as far as I know. And I'm getting off topic, but one of the best action scenes in the movie is the scene at the club. Every action scene in this movie is great. They're all really well choreographed. And like I said, there's not a dull moment in this movie, not one at all. The beginning, of course, sets up the story, but then once it gets the ball rolling, everything's just like, this is awesome, this is entertaining. I saw it in theaters, and I called my dad and I called my friend Connor. I said, you guys need, I said, this movie's awesome. I loved this film. And if you haven't seen John Wick yet, you gotta see it now. It's not that long, it's only an hour and a half. That's nanoseconds compared to half the movies that come out nowadays. Pardon me. And apparently they're making a sequel to John Wick. That is awesome. That is awesome. I am so happy they're making a sequel to John Wick. I just hope they don't screw it up. I hope they don't do the whole, they killed his dog, now he has to get revenge again, because that'll just be redundant. I'd probably still enjoy it if they did the action scenes as well as this one, and they can improve the action scenes. You can always improve. Always improve. Even though this is near perfect, you can always improve. You can always improve in movies. The Raid 2 was an improvement over the Raid 1, and the Raid 1 was fantastic. So like I said, there's always improvement to be made. When I say you can improve it, it doesn't mean what you did first was bad. There's just, if you can improve something, improve it. But there's not a lot to improve. I would say that, I gotta stop saying on these, I would start saying that I would like to see more squibs as opposed to CGI blood, but they did the CGI blood really well in this. It's not along the lines of Blood the Last Vampire, and if anyone has seen that movie had horrible CGI blood. That was some of the worst CGI blood I've ever seen, and I've seen some pretty bad CG blood. I know CGI blood has become more the norm nowadays, because it's just Not sure if it's cheaper or easier. And I know CGI is not easy to pull off, but I like squibs. Squibs are just cool because they look real. And I also like the visual style of this. It's very neon, very noir-like. And when they're in the club, it really establishes the style of how this movie's going. It's very colorful, very fast-paced and lighthearted. It's not, the weird thing is, it's not that dark of a movie. It has its dark moments, but it's a very, I can't say it's lighthearted, but it's not overly dark action film. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun, and we don't get that nowadays too often. We get movies that are trying too hard to be dark and edgy. That's why I liked Snowpiercer. I like Snowpiercer a lot, but that's why I thought the problem with Snowpiercer was it just angered me while I was watching it. John Wick, it just puts me in a good mood while I'm watching it because it says, here, have fun. Watch people get shot. Watch John Wick get revenge. Watch him beat up that guy. Watch him stab that guy. Watch him shoot that guy. Watch Willem Dafoe shoot somebody. Watch John Leguizamo punch that one guy in the face. Watch John Wick just shoot some overtly muscular guy at a bathhouse. It's just straight up entertainment. And while Snowpiercer is good, and I know that's what they wanted to do, they wanted to anger the viewer, make them feel hatred towards the enemies in that movie. But Snowpiercer is just too depressing. Life's depressing enough as it is. I don't need another movie to make me feel even worse about it. John Wick is the perfect escapist movie. It's just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. I cannot recommend John Wick enough because when I saw it in the theaters, I was just sitting there, just having a good time. And I went by myself, and I thought, this is just fun. I don't mind watching this movie by myself. I don't mind watching it with friends. I want my friends to see it. And there's not many shoot-'em-up movies that can come to the level of how fun this one is. There are some good shoot-'em-up movies. Like I said, John Woo is the master of that craft, and I might even do a top 10 list of shoot-'em-up films, even though I don't think there are that many really great ones, aside from John Woo ones and this one. And like I said, I don't consider RoboCop or Dredd shoot-'em-ups, or even the first Rambo. That's definitely not a shoot-'em-up movie. But John Wick, it's a 5-star film. It's phenomenal. It's a heck of a lot of fun. I loved this film. I watched it for the 3rd time today, and I'm going to watch it again soon. I hope all of you get a chance to see it, because I'm sure you will enjoy it if you like this type of film. There's not... Excuse me. There's not a single flaw I can point in this movie, aside from the movie feels like it has multiple endings. It feels like it could have ended at this point, then it feels like it could have ended at this point, then it feels like it could have ended at this point. It's really weird. But aside from that, there's nothing wrong with it. And the one scene, I'm sure a lot of people think that I'm thinking that that's a point where the movie could have ended. I'm not saying that. There's another couple of scenes where I thought that the movie probably not should have, but could have ended, because that's just where it feels like the story wrapped up, but it just kept going. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means more time seeing John Wick shoot people, and I'm willing to see John Wick shoot more people. Keanu Reeves, great actor in this film. That's pretty astonishing to see. He's not a bad actor, but he's been in a lot of movies where he just kind of doesn't express emotion, but in this one, he stepped up his game, and I'm happy about that. The guy who played the main Russian guy, I forget the actor's name, and I forget what character he played his name, but he did a really good job. He had a lot of fun with his role. The Mayhem guy from the Allstate movies is in this. Not movies. Allstate commercials is in this movie. That was weird to see. I was not expecting that. And who else was in this movie? It was someone else. John Leguizamo, like I said. William Dafoe. William Dafoe is in it. And I don't know I think he's the owner of the hotel that they stay at. That guy, he was really cool. And there's another hotel. He doesn't work at the hotel. He's just staying at the hotel. He was a good actor. He only had a bit role, but he did his job really well, and I liked it a lot. So John Wick, I can't say it enough. Check John Wick out. It is awesome. It is one of the most entertaining films to come out last year. And I'm going to watch it again. Of course, like I said, I don't Godzilla is still my favorite film of 2014, but John Wick definitely within the top five. Top five. Catch you guys later.